From the outside, Alicia and Dwayne Brown were the embodiment of young love and ambition. In their cozy two-bedroom apartment overlooking the turquoise waters of Montego Bay, Jamaica, they lived what many would call a manifested life. Alicia, 28, was a vibrant woman with a contagious smile and boundless energy. She owned a small but successful online boutique called Island Goddess Apparel, selling beachwear and accessories inspired by Caribbean culture. Her social media presence was magnetic, sunlit photos, inspiring quotes, and affirmations about love and abundance. Dwayne, 31, was her opposite in many ways, quieter, more grounded, a fitness trainer known in the local community for his discipline and intense workouts. But together they made sense. He was her rock. She was his light. They often posted motivational videos together, speaking about manifestation, the belief that thoughts and intentions could shape reality. In one of their most watched clips, Alicia looked into the camera and said, "If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. We're manifesting our dream vacation this year. Cuba, baby." It became their thing, a shared dream. They spoke about it often, visualizing every detail. Alicia wanted to visit Havana's colorful streets, smoke a Cuban cigar, and take sunset photos by the Malecon. Dwayne wanted to train on the beach, meet locals, and sip rum while listening to live salsa music. They even kept a manifestation board on their bedroom wall, filled with magazine cutouts of Havana's classic cars, beaches, and photos of couples walking hand in hand under palm trees. Every morning before work, Alicia would look at it and say, "Soon, babe, we'll be there." For 2 years, the trip to Cuba became their shared motivation. They saved every extra dollar, skipped parties, and turned down weekend getaways. Whenever money got tight, Alicia reminded Dwayne that sacrifices were part of the journey, that one day, their dream trip would come true. And then, in the spring of 2023, it finally did. Alicia received an unexpected financial windfall, a sponsorship deal from a Jamaican swimwear brand that had discovered her boutique on Instagram. The payment was enough to cover airfare, hotel, and even excursions in Havana. She was ecstatic. Dwayne, however, was oddly quiet. When Alicia showed him the tickets, jumping and squealing in excitement, he smiled, but his eyes didn't quite match the joy on his lips. Something about the timing unsettled him. He'd been feeling insecure lately, about their finances, about her growing online fame, and about a few comments she'd been getting on her posts from other men. Still, Alicia brushed it off. She believed this trip would fix everything. A fresh start. A chance to fall in love again away from the noise and stress of home. In one of her last videos before they left, she spoke directly to her followers. "We've been working hard, and we've been manifesting this for years. Finally, the universe said, 'It's your turn.' Next stop, Cuba." She didn't know it would also be her final post. On the night before their flight, they sat together on their balcony, sipping coconut water and watching the lights shimmer across the bay. Alicia leaned her head on Dwayne's shoulder and whispered, "This is it, babe. Our dreams coming true." Dwayne kissed her forehead, his face expressionless in the dim light. "Yeah," he said quietly, "everything's coming true." He smiled faintly, but something cold flickered in his eyes, something even Alicia didn't notice. The next morning, they would board a plane to Havana, filled with excitement, love, and unspoken tension. Neither of them knew that their manifestation, the dream they had built together, would soon unravel into a nightmare. If you had stumbled across Alicia and Dwayne Brown's social media pages before their trip, you'd think they were living a dream life, the kind of couple people envied. On Instagram, their grid was perfectly curated. Matching outfits, slow-motion beach walks, laughter over cocktails, and captions filled with hashtags like #PowerCouple, #ManifestingLove, and #IslandSoulmates. Alicia's followers adored them. To her 40,000 fans, she was the radiant entrepreneur who built her success from nothing. And Dwayne was the supportive, muscular boyfriend always by her side. They filmed everything together: morning workout sessions, behind the scenes of her fashion shoots, even short vlogs where they shared relationship advice. In one video that gained over 200,000 views, Dwayne looked into the camera and said, "We argue, yeah, but that's part of love. Every storm just makes us stronger. We don't give up, we grow." It was romantic, realistic, and completely staged, because behind the filters and smiling thumbnails, their relationship had already started to crack. Alicia's growing fame was both a blessing and a curse. Her boutique sales had tripled since she started promoting her designs online. But with that success came a flood of attention, from male followers, brand partnerships, and other influencers wanting to collaborate. Dwayne, meanwhile, felt himself fading into the background. He had once been the center of Alicia's world. But lately, she seemed distracted, glued to her phone, obsessing over her next post or replying to fans late at night. Friends noticed the shift. One of Alicia's close friends, Tanisha, recalled, "Alicia told me, he's starting to act different, like he don't like me shining." She laughed it off, but I could tell it was getting to her. Dwayne, too, vented to his gym buddy that Alicia was changing. "She's not the same girl," he said. "Every minute it's some photo, some reel. It's not love anymore, it's followers." Still, on camera, they were perfect. Alicia used their online presence as proof that everything was fine. She believed in positive energy, that if she kept posting love, the universe would reflect love back. She even told a fan who asked about handling relationship problems, "You have to speak what you want into existence. Never say your relationship is broken. Say it's healing." But offline, healing wasn't happening. Arguments became frequent, small at first about social media captions or who paid for dinner, but they escalated into screaming matches. Dwayne accused her of flirting with male clients. Alicia accused him of being controlling. Once, after she posted a photo from a fashion shoot in a swimsuit, Dwayne deleted it from her phone while she was sleeping. She woke up furious. "You think people only follow you because of your business? Look at the comments," he snapped. "They're not here for your clothes, Alicia. So what, you want me to stop doing what I love?" She shot back. "I want you to act like you're taken," he said coldly. Their fights always ended the same way. Apologies, hugs, promises to do better. And then another post appeared online the next day. A photo of them smiling, captioned "Unbreakable." But the people closest to them knew the truth. They were breaking slowly and silently. 2 weeks before their flight, Alicia confided to Tanisha again. "I just hope this trip helps," she said. "We need a reset. Just me and him, no distractions." She'd already planned every detail of the trip. Romantic dinners, salsa classes, a couple's massage at the hotel spa. She even packed a white lace dress she wanted to wear during a sunset photo shoot in Havana. She was determined to make it magical, to prove to herself and to Dwayne that their love was still worth manifesting. But Dwayne wasn't thinking about healing. According to text messages later recovered from his phone, he had been scrolling through Alicia's Instagram late at night, screenshotting comments from male followers, obsessing over one particular user at King JD Jamaica, a DJ from Kingston who had been liking every post. When investigators later asked about those screenshots, Dwayne said, "I just didn't like the way she looked at her phone when she smiled." That smile, the same one that had once made him fall in love, had now become his biggest trigger. By the time they boarded the plane to Havana, Alicia was all excitement, filming takeoff, giggling as she held Dwayne's hand, whispering, "We did it, babe," into her camera. Dwayne smiled too for the video, but as the plane rose above the Caribbean Sea, his mind wasn't on the beaches or cocktails. It was on that DJ's comments, on the swimsuit photo, on the idea that maybe this trip wasn't a new beginning. Maybe it was the end. 2 days before the flight, the Browns' apartment wasn't filled with excitement. It was filled with shouting. Neighbors later said they heard loud arguing, the sound of something breaking, and Alicia crying. The fight started when Dwayne saw a message pop up on her phone from the Kingston DJ. It was harmless, a simple "safe travels to you both." But Dwayne's jealousy boiled over. "You told me you blocked him." "It's just a message, Dwayne. Stop acting crazy." He punched the wall, stormed out, and didn't return for hours. When he did, he apologized. Tears, promises, and a desperate hug. Let's just go on the trip, Alicia whispered. We need this. She wanted to believe it would help. He wanted to believe she still loved him. The night before they left, she posted a final photo. Their packed suitcases beside each other, captioned manifestation complete. See you soon, Cuba. Her followers cheered. But in that same apartment, silence hung thick, the kind that comes after words you can't take back. Neither of them realized it yet, but the dream trip that was meant to heal their love was about to destroy it. When their flight touched down in Havana, Alicia was beaming. She pressed her face to the airplane window, whispering, "We really did it." Dwayne nodded, forcing a small smile. The couple filmed their arrival for Alicia's vlog, dancing in the airport terminal, posing beside vintage taxis, laughing as a driver shouted, "Bienvenidos a Cuba." Everything seemed perfect again. Their hotel, the Grand Caribe Sevilla, was a colonial-style building overlooking Old Havana. From the moment they checked in, Alicia was enchanted. The music, the color, the smell of the ocean in the evening breeze. She wanted to see everything, capture every moment. That first day, they explored the city hand in hand, riding in a pink convertible through cobblestone streets. Dwayne held the camera, Alicia's laughter echoing through the video as she shouted, "Cuba, we made it." Later, they dined at a rooftop restaurant with a view of the glowing city. Alicia ordered mojitos and toasted to new beginnings. Dwayne raised his glass, but his eyes lingered on her as she smiled at the waiter's compliments. Back in their hotel room that night, Alicia edited clips for her travel vlog. Dwayne sat quietly on the bed, scrolling through her comments section. Hundreds of hearts, fire emojis, and flirty compliments from men. His jaw tightened. "You really have to post everything?" he muttered. "It's what I do, babe," she said softly. "People love seeing us happy." He said nothing more, just turned off the lights and lay still beside her. The next day brought temporary peace. They visited a salsa club, took pictures with locals, and bought handmade cigars. Alicia posted again, a photo of them on a balcony, her arms around him, captioned, "Manifested moments." But behind that photo was tension. Dwayne had grown withdrawn, barely speaking. When Alicia laughed with a bartender who spoke English, Dwayne's face went blank. To outsiders, they looked like any loving couple on vacation. But to the hotel staff who saw them up close, something felt off, especially in Dwayne's eyes. He wasn't just watching Alicia, he was studying her. And as the sun set over Havana that night, the dream they had manifested together was beginning to twist into something darker. By their third night in Havana, the tension between Alicia and Dwayne had become impossible to hide. They had signed up for a group bar crawl through Old Havana, cocktails, salsa dancing, and live Cuban music. Alicia was in her element, laughing, spinning, recording everything on her phone. First, Dwayne joined in. He danced awkwardly, smiled for her camera, and even lifted her off the floor playfully for a video clip. But as the night wore on and Alicia loosened up, his mood changed. When a friendly tourist invited her to dance salsa, she said yes, thinking nothing of it. But Dwayne's expression darkened immediately. He stood off to the side, arms crossed, staring at them. The smile disappeared from his face. After the song ended, Alicia returned to their table, sweaty and laughing. "You should dance too," she said, teasing him. "With who?" he snapped. "You already found your dance partner." Alicia's smile faded. She told him to relax, that it was just a dance. But Dwayne downed his drink, stood up, and walked out of the bar without a word. She found him outside 20 minutes later, pacing near the corner of the street. "Why are you acting like this?" she asked. "Because I see the way you look at other men," he said, his voice low and tight. "You're being ridiculous. You make me ridiculous." The walk back to the hotel was silent. Dwayne trailed a few steps behind, his jaw clenched, eyes fixed on the ground. Hotel staff later recalled seeing them return around midnight. Alicia still wearing her red dress, Dwayne expressionless beside her. They didn't speak at the reception desk. Upstairs, on the fourth floor, room 412's door shut quietly. Security footage showed no movement afterward, just lights flickering from the balcony and the faint sound of raised voices around 2 a.m. No one could make out what they said, but one guest later told police she heard a woman's voice shouting, "I'm done, Dwayne. I'm done." Then came a loud crash and silence. It was just past 2 a.m. when the argument in room 412 reached its breaking point. Hotel guests on the same floor later described hearing muffled shouting, then the sound of something heavy falling. Inside, Alicia had started packing her suitcase. She was tired of the jealousy, the suspicion, the quiet anger that always followed her laughter. The night's fight had been the final straw. "I'm leaving, Dwayne. First flight back to Jamaica," she said, her voice trembling but firm. Dwayne stood by the balcony door, his face shadowed by the city lights outside. "You're not going anywhere," he said quietly. "You can't stop me." He moved closer, his voice rising. "You embarrassed me in front of everyone tonight. You made me look like a fool. You made yourself look like one," she shouted back. "You ruin everything with your paranoia." Then came the sound of breaking glass, Alicia's perfume bottle shattering against the wall. She stepped back, startled. "Dwayne, stop. You're scaring me." But Dwayne didn't stop. In that instant, years of insecurity and rage erupted. He grabbed her arm. She tried to push him away. They struggled near the balcony door, voices echoing, furniture scraping against the floor. Then came a scream, a single, piercing scream that jolted the quiet hallway. Moments later, silence. When the sun rose over Havana a few hours later, room 412 was still locked from the inside. No one answered the housekeeping knock at 7 a.m. By 7:40, when a staff member finally opened the door, the dream vacation the Browns had manifested together was over. Alicia lay motionless on the balcony floor, her suitcase half-packed beside her. The room was in disarray. Shattered glass, overturned chairs, blood smeared on the tile. Dwayne was gone. At 7:40 a.m., the housekeeper, Maria Lopez, unlocked room 412 after repeated unanswered knocks. She expected to find a couple sleeping off a hangover, not a scene straight out of a nightmare. The moment the door opened, the metallic scent of blood hit her nose. The curtains were half drawn, the sheets crumpled and stained. Broken glass littered the floor, and the balcony door stood wide open, letting in the humid Havana morning air. Maria froze when she saw Alicia's body. She lay sprawled on the balcony floor, motionless, a pool of blood forming beneath her head. Her suitcase sat nearby, half open, clothes spilling out as if she had been packing in a hurry. "Dios mío!" Maria screamed, running down the hallway for help. Within minutes, hotel security and local police filled the room. Officers cordoned off the area as horrified guests peeked from their doors. There were clear signs of struggle, overturned furniture, a cracked mirror, and blood smears leading from the bed to the balcony. A shattered wine glass lay near the door, and one of Alicia's earrings was found under the dresser. But the most disturbing detail was what wasn't there: Dwayne. His clothes were missing from the closet, his phone and wallet gone. The only thing left of his was a broken watch on the nightstand, stopped at 2:18 a.m. Investigators immediately suspected foul play. There was no sign of forced entry, no evidence anyone else had entered the room. Whatever happened, it happened between them. The Jamaican embassy was notified, and by noon, the story had already begun circulating through local news outlets. Jamaican tourist found dead in Havana hotel, husband missing. Back in Montego Bay, Alicia's family was devastated. Her sister, Marcia, recalled getting the call. "They said she was gone. I didn't believe it. She was supposed to come back in 3 days." Police launched an immediate manhunt for Dwayne Brown. CCTV footage showed him leaving the hotel around 3 a.m., barefoot, wearing a black hoodie, and carrying a small backpack. He didn't look panicked. He looked calm. And as the investigation deepened, one question began to haunt everyone. Was Alicia's death a moment of rage, or something Dwayne had been planning all along? Cuban authorities wasted no time launching a full-scale search for Dwayne Brown. Within hours, his photo was distributed across Havana, the smiling fitness trainer now labeled a person of interest in a tourist murder case. Investigators pieced together his movements after leaving the hotel. Surveillance footage from nearby streets showed him walking quickly through Old Havana around 3:15 a.m., barefoot and carrying a small black backpack. He passed a convenience store, ignored the clerk's calls, and disappeared into the narrow alleys leading toward the city's outskirts. Local police, joined by Interpol and the Jamaican consulate, began a citywide manhunt. They checked hospitals, hostels, and bus stations. Word spread fast. A foreign man on the run, possibly dangerous. 3 days passed. Then, a tip came from a fisherman in a small coastal village east of Havana. He reported seeing a man who looked lost, dirty, and barefoot, sleeping inside an abandoned beach shack. When officers arrived, they found Dwayne lying on the floor, dehydrated and exhausted. He didn't resist arrest. In fact, he barely spoke at all. When asked what happened, he muttered only one sentence. "She wouldn't stop talking. I just wanted her to listen." At the police station, Dwayne gave a fragmented account. He claimed they fought, that Alicia had slipped and hit her head. But investigators weren't convinced, especially after the autopsy revealed severe blunt force trauma and multiple defensive wounds. His hands were covered in scratches, clear signs of struggle. The case quickly made international headlines. In Jamaica, news anchors called it the manifestation murder. Online, Alicia's followers flooded her last Instagram post with thousands of comments. Heartbreak, disbelief, and anger. She wanted a dream trip, not a death sentence. He looked like he loved her. How could he do this? The perfect couple everyone adored had now become a global tragedy. And as Dwayne sat in a Cuban holding cell, the once charismatic fitness coach was now silent, staring at the floor, whispering only one line over and over. "We were supposed to start over, not end there." Dwayne's arrest made headlines in both Cuba and Jamaica. He looked hollow, sunburned, barefoot, and emotionless. When questioned, he claimed it was an accident, saying Alicia fell during a fight. But the evidence told a different story. Bruises, broken glass, and a head wound that could only come from blunt force. Police charged him with second-degree murder. The trial began 6 months later in Havana. Prosecutors painted Dwayne as a jealous, possessive man who couldn't handle his partner's success. The defense argued it was a tragic accident fueled by emotions. After weeks of testimony and video evidence, the jury took only 2 hours to decide. Dwayne Brown was found guilty and sentenced to 25 years in a Cuban prison. Back home, Alicia's followers turned her old posts into memorials. Her last caption, "We finally made it," was shared thousands of times. The same video that once celebrated love now symbolized tragedy. People began calling it the manifestation curse. The perfect couple had manifested their dream straight into disaster.